Hello, you've caught me playing through The Last of Us Remastered again, just so it's fresh in my mind before I dive into The Last of Us Part 2. And it's a Naughty Dog game, right, so it's rich in detail. Tiny details you might go the entire game not noticing, but they're in there. Details like Joel opening doors differently depending on whether he's walking, sneaking or desperately running away from clickers. All the cuts and bruises on his skin, the tears in his clothes that are visible when you, like me, spend more time mucking around in photo mode than actually playing the game. This logo on Ellie's top, which is the first entry on this list of 7 incredible video game details we completely missed, but have since spent ages finding on Reddit and then putting in this video. Now, I'll admit, when I played The Last of Us, I just didn't blink at this. Ellie's wearing a top with a logo on it. Looks tropical, maybe it's like a surf brand or something, not important. And so I carried on my merry way, hiding from clickers and making weapons with tape and nails, a normal Tuesday, until I discovered that way back in 2007, this logo was also in Uncharted Drake's Fortune. Where? On the jet ski. I never noticed this before, probably because when I played the jet ski level, I was too busy shouting at all the baddies with rocket launchers and throwing my controller against the wall. But there it is, clear as day, the same logo that appears on Ellie's top in The Last of Us. I'm not going to get all conspiracy theory-ish here and suggest Uncharted and The Last of Us take place in the same universe, because it's just all a cool Easter egg, right? Otherwise, you'd have to lump Jack and Daxter in there too, because you can find a precursor orb in Uncharted. And, as wild as it is, having people walking around in The Last of Us with dried porcini mushrooms for ears, I still can't imagine roving bands of metalheads charging through here. So yeah, the logo from Ellie's top is also on the jet ski in Uncharted. Pretty cool, huh? Entry 2. Now, I have a confession to make. I thought I was a massive fan of Final Fantasy, especially Final Fantasy VII. I finished Final Fantasy VII Remake and am slowly working my way through the game on hard difficulty as I inch towards the platinum. And not once in the 70-odd hours I've clocked so far did I notice the benches you use to regain your health have the save icon from the original Final Fantasy VII in the top left corner. See it now? Here is the save icon in Final Fantasy VII, inexplicably with dialogue in this tutorial, and here is the logo on the bench in Remake. So cool. Such an awesome way to honour the memory of the save point. A gaming convention that's largely died out these days, what with autosave and the ability to just stick your PS4 on rest mode and then instantly boot up games in exactly the same place you left them. I love this detail. It kind of encapsulates Remake's reverence for its 1997 source material and the way the game has morphed and reinvented itself for the modern age. Or maybe it's like inflation. A save point in 1997 is now worth a bench and a vending machine full of really expensive ethers in 2020. Seriously though, 500 gil, what is this, a motorway service station? Entry 3. It's no secret that I love being really mean to NPCs, especially in Skyrim. Whiterun is basically my murder playground. I like to sneak into shopkeepers' houses at night, creep up on them while they're asleep, and do the damage times 30 backstab before stealing all their things. Then I reload and do it all again. What I didn't realise, because normally I just rip through the city like a tornado made of dragon shouts, is that if you go to Whiterun's Hall of the Dead, you'll find ceremonial Nord burial urns with the names of all the NPCs you've unceremoniously knifed all the way to Sovngarde. And if you look inside, you'll find what's left of their possessions. So not a lot, if you're me. I love this detail. It really rams home the consequences of your flippant terrorising of NPCs. When someone dies in Skyrim, be they a warrior companion or a simple shopkeeper, they stay dead. That's one of the things that makes this world feel so alive, although I imagine the thinking behind the inclusion of burial urns was to make you weep when characters you've grown to love are tragically lost in dragon attacks or stormcloak raids, not to have you teabagging the ashes of people who are now most certainly not getting to the Cloud District very often. Next up, it's Metal Gear Solid 2. Now, goodness knows we could have filled this video entirely with Metal Gear entries, what with Hideo Kojima renowned for his love of acute attention to detail. But don't say I don't read the comments. I know you're all sick of me talking about the same games in every video, which is why I've put Skyrim and Final Fantasy VII in here for a nice change of pace. Anyway, this detail is fantastic. Right at the start of the game, Snake finds himself on board a tanker. His mission, recover photographic evidence of the new Metal Gear prototype. This is strictly non-lethal, at least it was before all the armed Russians move in and kill everyone. And so to start, you're armed only with an M9 tranquilizer gun. If you're one of those awful people who likes to skip all the cinematics, you'll start the game with 16 rounds in your M9. Nothing unusual about that, off you go. But if you play the game properly and watch absolutely everything, Snake shoots out one of the lights in this cutscene while trying out his gun for the first time. When you assume control, look, you only have 15 rounds in the tranquilizer. That's the kind of mad attention to detail I absolutely love in Metal Gear Solid 2. I mean, we could talk about the bottles you can shoot, and Snake leaving wet footprints after he's just come inside, and flour leaking out of this bag, and we just have talked about those things. But the number of bullets changing depending on whether or not you viewed a cutscene, who else would think of doing that? Grand Theft Auto 5, a game so huge and rich in detail, it's sometimes easy to forget the game originally came out on PS3. That it still sets the benchmark for open-world storytelling is testament to the brilliance of Rockstar. Other things that are testament to the brilliance of Rockstar are sweat. If you run around loads with your unfit characters, sweat starts to show through their clothes. Also, your clothes get wet in water, but only up to the point where you've entered. But what makes this list is a brilliant detail early on in the game. During the mission where Franklin is tasked with repossessing Jimmy's car, you can see Michael hiding under a blanket in the back seat. Why is he there? Maybe he's psychic and knew you were coming. Maybe he was taking a nap. Who knows? But there he is, ready to spring out during the next cutscene and show corrupt car dealer Simeon who's boss. It isn't Simeon. Look who it is at entry number 6. Yes, it's Norman Reedus, the human Jenga tower, but also Hideo Kojima, back with some more wonderful attention to detail. And this one is so massive and obvious, I can't believe I got through almost the entirety of Death Stranding before noticing that the Bridges logo, visible on the exterior of each distribution centre, changes after the centre in question has been hooked up to the chiral network. You know, until you come along with your fancy Cupid, it's like all these places have been running on old software, as if the people in charge wake up in the morning, have a quick swig of Monster, check their emails, and then furiously click "No, tell me again at 4 in the morning" on that message that keeps nagging them to download version 6.553 or whatever it is of Adobe Distribution Center Pro. Enter Sam Porter Bridges, who at this point is basically a walking firmware update, hooking everyone up to the lovely new chiral network. And look at the logo! No longer is it golden and old looking, it's now black and new and clear. I'm guessing they can 3D print auto painters to do the job in the world of Death Stranding, because you wouldn't get me up there on a ladder with a tin of Dulux, that's for sure. Our final entry is one of my favourite details ever, because it's an example of developers putting in a ton of effort for something most people will probably never see. Right at the beginning of Dishonored, when you first arrive in Dunwall, before everything goes bad and you're framed for murdering the Empress, you'll find Overseer Campbell having his portrait painted by Anton Sokolov. Nearby is a glass of wine. When I played this game, I naturally picked it up, knee-jerk reaction. Oh, wine! Glug, 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 and thought nothing of it. In the very next mission, you can see the finished painting of the Overseer. If you took the wine from the table, it doesn't appear in the painting.
What are you doing? I need the bottle to draw the eye away from Campbell. I suppose I can paint him without the cider.
However, if you're a virtual teetotaler, or if you don't think this early in the morning is the right time to be drinking wine and leave the glass, then Sokolov has included it in the painting. Amazing. Not only is this very cool, it's also incredible to think of the poor team of artists at Arcane Studios who had to make this painting twice, once with wine and once without, just so, 5% of Dishonored players could notice this amazing detail. But then it's no surprise, Dishonored is full of instances like this. It's a game that shifts and bends to accommodate your choices. Take these 3 guards for example. If you have high chaos, i.e. if you're going around fighting everyone, one of them is brutally murdered by the other 2. On low chaos, however, that one guard instead begs for a quick death, the other 2 reluctantly agreeing only after offering him their share of Sokolov's elixir. What a game Dishonored is. And there you go, 7 incredible details in games we completely missed. Did you spot any of these? Are there any more you can think of that we didn't include? Let us know in the comments, give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to click that notification bell so you're always up to date with everything from the world of PlayStation. Thanks for watching, and see you next week for another Friday feature.
For the players.